On this video, we're going to talk about the upset knife hand strike. It's a different technique than the other knife hand strike that I taught, but this is still going to be an introduction to basic knife hand strike. What I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you guys the correct way, the old school martial arts way of executing the knife hand strike. And then once you get it down, then you can kind of get crazy with it with different techniques, and you don't have to be so dialed in. But this is I'm going to teach you how to do it within a testing atmosphere and in competition, and then we can do it with self-defense as well. All right, so I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm going to show you the technique right now. So I'm going to mirror you. So this will be your right hand, this will be your left hand. So let's talk about the hand that is going to do your aim or your grab, okay? So with your left hand, it's going to be an aiming up to the head part. I don't think I've ever seen it down below to a midsection, although I guess if you want to do it, then you can. But we're aiming head level, your head level, and then this is either going to be a grab or an aim. For my beginners, it'll be aim. For, of course, self-defense, it'll be a grab, pull in. But for training purposes, this is going to come right back into our prepared position or our aiming position, right up into our armpit. All right. Okay, so we're going to aim with our left, and then with the right hand, we're going to palm out up next to our cheek. And remember, same technique as the other knife hand strike from the opposite side of the face. Now this is going to be on this side. Remember, fingers straight or fingers together, and then bend those fingers a tiny bit, kind of get some tension in there. Thumb, bring it right into your pocket right there where it fits nice and snug. And then remember, this part, same part as the other knife hand strike, is going to be the bottom part of this palm right here. Okay, now be careful of, if you keep turning it straighter, then we're going to start getting into the bone, pinky bone down here, into our hand and into our wrist, and we want to stay away from that. We want to have it more or less right up in here. That way we want to stay away from the back of our hand if all possible, with training purposes as well. All right, and then secondly, make sure that wrist is straight. For a testing style or competition style form, we want to make sure that wrist is nice and straight. Self-defense, when I grab Bob out here in a sec, then this is going to be another move I'm going to show you that you are going to have to tweak the wrist a little bit. Okay, so let me bring the camera down here a tiny bit so you can see my feet. Now when I'm striking, okay, I am going to be landing in a front stance 90% of the time. This is what form, purpose, technique is going to be. Is step into a front stance and then strike. So everything's nice and strong, feet planted into the ground, toes are kind of gripping that mat, that ground. But this is for the testing and competition purposes. Self-defense, this is going to be a little bit different, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, this is just what I do. What feels good to me is, of course, when you strike, you're just not striking with the arm and your body isn't doing anything. To generate all your power that we have, of course, we generate it from the ground up into the end of our technique. Front kick, round kick, okay, all that is generated up from the ground. Same thing with this. We want those hips to engage. So when we strike, and remember, self-defense strike, we want to kind of get into that good sparring stance. And when it comes to self-defense, we don't really need to be perfect. It just needs to work, and that's what I would do if it's a self-defense situation, is get that ball, that toe, and rotate that ball. Okay, so just keep that in mind as well. All right, let's grab Bob out here. Let me move this up a tiny bit here so my head's in there so you can see my pretty face. All right, here's the striking points where you can aim for self-defense pretty much. Board breaks, you know, you can come from a 45-degree angle this way. You can come in front, whatever. I'm going to show you all that. But here are the first striking points for self-defense. The eardrum, the ear, the eye socket, side of the eye, and then side of the jaw. Okay, lower part of the jaw. We want to kind of stay, like, this is all pretty sensitive, you know, face-wise. But if we get a good target, like, okay, I'm aiming for eye socket, then that would probably be better than just like throwing a knife hand strike and just hoping it lands on one of these spots. So just the same thing as keep the eye on the ball in baseball, keep your eye on the target. That's a universal rule, is eye on the target. So if you want ear, look at the ear, eye, look at the eye, jaw, look at the jaw. All right. Okay, so here's where our knife hand strike can come into more of a palm heel, but it's still more or less a knife hand strike. And then this is where you can grab clothing, you can grab the back of the neck, bring them in, strike this way. I almost did an elbow, but strike this way to the knife hand strike. Okay, bring them into you, bam, this way, bam, that way. Okay, so grab, and now you have a target right in front of the face as well. Okay, let me grab Bob, turn him a little bit. So you have the nose area too. Okay, this is still, I would still consider this a knife hand strike because we're still hitting with that bottom part of the palm right there. But what we want to do is make sure now, instead of our wrist being straight and, you know, mechanical, now we want to bend it a tiny bit, because if we do keep the knife hand, our wrist straight, our fingers are going to hit the target first. So you want to bend that that wrist back and hit with the palm here, so the palm will be the knife hand, but we're still doing the rotation of a knife hand strike here. Okay, but it's more or less going to be it's kind of a half upset knife hand strike, half palm heel. And I haven't done the palm heel yet, but I'll make a video about that as well. That's pretty easy to do. You're pretty much doing it right here, but not fully this way. We're still setting up knife hand strike style and going this way. So we have the nose and we have the lower jaw, the chin area. We can have that target as well. Okay, so make sure we twist that wrist back and then hit the bottom part of that palm right there. Fingers nice and tight. They're all together. Bend it a little bit. Thumb in, and you should have a good solid strike there. And that's it. Pretty simple. If you've got any questions, if you think I missed anything, go ahead and comment down below, and I'll either remake this one or just kind of text you guys on that one. Like and subscribe. Until next time, guys, train hard, train smart.